We have discussed Spring Security architecture and its internal flow previously in the section 1. We have seen how Spring Security handles the request that comes in terms of authorizing and authenticating it. During that discussion, we came to know user detail service and password encoder are the important interfaces that helps in maintaining the user details and validating them. That means if someone provides some credentials, these two user detail services and password encoder take the responsibility of validating them, whether the username and password entered by user is correct or not. So in this section, let's try to explore more on user detail service, password encoders, and how to create multiple users for our application. The problem with the current application that we have developed in the previous section is it has only single user that we configured in the application.properties. Ideally, most of our application can't survive with a single user. Your application should support as many users as we want along with their roles, authorities. To achieve that, let's go to our project security config class where we previously customized our path level security using ant matches. So since here we want to customize our user details and user detail services, users and password encoders, we have to override another method provided by Spring Security Framework under this class Web Security Configure adapter with the same name configure, but the difference between the upper one and this one is the input argument. The upper one will accept HTTP security and the lower one will accept authentication manager builder. So this is the method where if you want to customize your user details, password encoders along with authentication providers. So this is the method where we have to customize. Let's try to configure multiple users. So this is the code that we have to write if you want to configure your own users and multiple users as well. If you see here, for now, we are going to use in-memory authentication. That means all these users that we want to maintain will be stored inside memory of a Spring container, which will be leveraged by Spring Security while performing authentication and authorization details. First, we have to select in-memory authentication, and whenever we want to add an user, we have to call the method with user and what is the username followed by dot password and the user password along with the authorities that the user want to maintain. Like in this scenario, we have an admin user who should have admin authorities, and at the same time, if you want to configure multiple users, you can also configure by using an AND operator followed by same code like with user, password and authorities, where I have configured another user called normal user with the same password, but his authorities are read level authority. And at the same time, whenever we are using user details and whenever we are trying to customize the user details, by default, definitely we should pass the password encoder. If you are not passing the password encoder, Spring Security will throw an error. I don't know how to validate your password. Is your password stored as a normal text or is it encoded or encrypted inside the memory of the Spring container? It does not know. That's why we should always pass the password encoder along with whenever we try to customize the user details. So previously we have not provided and we didn't try to customize this entire method. That's where Spring Security went ahead and used the users and password present in this property file, and it also considers default password encoded. So here I'm saying I will be using password encoder which is of no op password encoder. That means I don't want to have any password encoders. This will show as a deprecated because this is not recommended. But since we are enhancing our application by step, for now I'm just configuring password encoder as no password encoder for now. With that, let's try to start our application by going to our main Spring Boot application. I have changed the class name and the package name compared to our previous section so that we can maintain the same consistent class name for all the further sections. So what I will do is I'll right click, run and select run as Java application. So now I have my server started. So this time let's go to an browser and try to validate all our paths. So we said our notices path should be not secured, so obviously it will not ask any credentials. But if I want to access my account, it will ask the credentials. I'll type first the credentials that we mentioned in the application.properties, but it will not accept because now we have provided our own users inside the security configuration class. So here I can type admin 12345 as a password, which will allow, or I can also enter the other normal user that I have configured, which is user 12345. Did you see? Now we came from a step where we maintain single static user to a position where we can maintain any number of users that we want inside our security configuration class. Again, this is not the production ready application, but I just wanted to show you inside the memory of our application also we can maintain the users details. Ideally, in any production environment project, we maintain all such details inside database or LDAP or any other secured place. But in this scenario, since the application that we are trying to enhance step by step, I want to show first that we can also maintain in the memory of the Spring Boot application. With that, now we know how to configure multiple users and how to pass a password encoder associated to my user details. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye.